Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the show. I can't wait to get started with today's Friday review. I'm excited that tomorrow's the weekend for sure. It certainly seems like it's been an intense week, a stressful week. I don't know about you, but working from home, I think it can be fun for a certain period of time, and then it might get a little monotonous for a lot of people being in one environment your entire day and, not being able to kind of separate different sections and different parts of your life and all of that. But, we have to do what we have to do right now. And I'm certainly not complaining, but looking forward to kind of changing things up maybe for this weekend. And hopefully you've been getting out there for your walks each and every day as well. One of the few things we can do right now as we're being quarantined to our homes. So certainly have some updates on the COVID-19 viral-based issues right now. I'm going to present to you different sides of the story. And one of the nice things I think about listening to each side of the story is that you don't have to say, okay, I'm going to believe all of this or I'm going to believe only all of this, is you can start to take pieces from each one. So I want to present some of that to you today. I'm going to be bringing you a blast from the past PDF recipe of one of the lunchtime meals or even breakfast meals we've been making while we've been quarantined here, my family and I. So looking forward to certainly sharing that with you. Again, like I said, we've been taking a lot of walks, a lot of family walks. One of the new things that we're doing is a post-dinner walk together. And it's been actually really enjoyable, really nice, and something we hope to continue with at least through the late fall of this year. Taking a late winter walk in Boston, not exactly the most fun, but something we do hope to continue. And an app that goes along with that my two young daughters have been enjoying using as well. So I'll share that with you. And then 3 research studies that, I handpick every single week. 3 studies that I absolutely believe you should know about. And that hopefully will either reaffirm what you're doing right now in terms of living a healthy lifestyle, or maybe getting you to move in an even healthier direction based on the latest science. So without further ado, let's dive right into the show. First things first, I will share with you what's going on over at Equilibrium Nutrition, just so that you don't miss out on it. Now, you don't have to take advantage, of course, of any of these different offers, but I at least want you to know about it. And this week, what we have going on is the free giveaway for the either free dry brush spa kit. That's a body-based dry brush or and facial-based dry brush, and also dry brush gloves. This allows you to better move the lymphatic system within the body, which is just about 1 to 3 millimeters right underneath the skin. It helps with natural detoxification, natural removal of potentially different viruses or other disease-based tissue, we'll call it that way. Basically, what your lymphatic system does, I'm going to break it down in a nutshell right now, is it helps to remove waste from the body. Now, some of it's just natural waste. It's just your cells are living, breathing things. They literally work through a process of osmosis. They take the good stuff in, which is all the nutrients, and then they remove the waste. Well, a lot of that needs to be pushed through the lymphatic system, and so does a lot of the contents of the white blood cells or lymph nodes, and the lymph nodes is what helps to eradicate, destroy bacteria, viruses, etc. So dry brushing is just one more way. It's one more healthy way of moving that lymph. It helps with skin tightening. It helps with cellulite. And again, really simple. You can check out my previous podcasts on dry brushing and manual lymph drainage. Definitely check that out. Free dry brush this week or free blue blocking glasses over at equilibriumnutrition.com. All purchases over $99 get one of those free gifts. The reason why we decided on those was simply put, most people they don't usually purchase things like that a lot of the times for themselves. So if I could give them away, if my team can give them away with the purchase of something else that you might like to get, then I thought that would be really fun. So that's going on this week. And the other thing is our Stock Up and Save is going to be ending soon. That is a first ever item, an offer that we've created, which is essentially a lot of our top products that people are already using. We said, how can we help people save more money at this moment in time? How can we get them free shipping? And that's what we're able to do. And so, again, I really believe that what companies and businesses are able to do at this time speaks volumes about, are they really trying to help people in the best way possible? Now, a business has to obviously make money in order to pay for all of its people and to continue on and pay for all of its overhead and all that. There's no doubt about it. But at times like this, can we help people save? Can we take some profit off the table to really reinvest in people? And that's what we've decided to do as a company, is really we're saying, what's the lowest possible price we can sell things at? And that's what we did. So a lot of them are buy a certain number and get 2 free and free shipping and all these different types of things. And that's our commitment right now. And the reason is that it's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm saying, if this is what I'm doing, can we share this with others as well? I mean, in my house right now, we've got 16 boxes of bars. We've got 10 DNS shakes. We've got daily fruit and vegetable blend. We've got multiple daily, we've got the omega-3 support. Digestive enzymes. We have stocked cabinets. And the reason is that you just don't know. I mean, in New Zealand, they stopped delivering packages to people. They're at what's called a stage 4 lockdown. Who knows what any country is going to do? I don't. So I at least want I have my frozen food. I've got my rice. I've got my beans. I've got my olive oil. I've got my supplements. I'm just stocked. And so that's essentially what I said. Okay, well, let's allow other people that maybe they choose not to do it. That's okay too. Let's just allow that option. So that's what we've done. That's what's going on this week at equilibriumnutrition.com. In terms of integrative health practitioner institutes, that is the place where we teach people essentially how to become the health coach in their home, how to create a health coaching practice, or just learn more about their own health. And that's over at integrativehealthpractitioner.org. We are currently closed right now, but you can certainly sign up on the list for our next opening. But what we are doing is for current members that are going to pass level 1 by June 1st, we have created a brand new course that's debuting this week called Mastery. And it is called IHP Mastery for a reason. It is teaching people the science behind change. Change with consistency, change with mindset, the ability to not only coach a client through what they need to do in terms of protocols to help with gut healing, inflammation balance, blood sugar balance, autoimmune, you name it, right? We're not working on the disease itself. We're helping to balance the underlying root cause issues. But we're doing that through diet and exercise and stress reduction and toxin removal and rest and emotional balance and supplement protocols and success mindset. Well, what Mastery does is it helps to teach coaches as well as themselves how to better get consistent results. That means we already know the protocols that are working. So now how do we enable people to actually follow through with the programs to a better degree and then maintain those results for life? So Mastery is 10 different modules that set up actually over 6 months with a live component to it. So the very first time, every 2 weeks now, we're going to be doing a workshop with the 50 new students that are coming in. We're limiting our enrollment to 50 current IHPs. And it's going to be absolutely amazing material. Myself, our medical director, Dr. Jennifer, is going to be teaching some of the modules. We'll have our health coaches from the actual Equilibrium Nutrition team providing advice. Really amazing group of people, really hands-on. It's going to be interactive every 2 weeks on a workshop. A new module opens up every 2 weeks. Our current charter members are going to get lifetime access. So if you're interested, if you're an IHP member, just head to the Facebook group and you'll get the private link to sign up there. If you ever can't find anything, of course, just email support@integrativehealthpractitioner.org. Really amazing, super excited about it, and I'm actually recording a lot of that course material right now as we speak. So again, really excited. All right, now let's move on to some of the COVID-19 viral items. I'm going to be talking about this more next week. I'm doing a weekly video. If you haven't seen the weekly videos on everything that you need, in my opinion, from the unbiased source, it's at stephencabral.com/virus. Of course, it's not all the information that you need, but it's an unbiased perspective of where are we at this week? What are the statistics saying? What's working the best for pharmaceuticals and conventional medicine for those people that need acute life-saving care? And then what's working the best in natural health and natural health-based remedies based on what we know is stopping viral replication. So I share all of that each week at stephencabral.com/virus. And next week I'll be giving you updates, but I'm going to actually go over right now, I told you we needed about 2 weeks for conventional medicine and not that long for sure for natural health, because we've already know what works for keeping the body and the immune system boosted, as well as what works for viruses. So I'm going to be sharing that 3 medications that are getting really great results, not just the one that we've been talking about, but I'm also wanted to share with you even before then. We are looking now. So the latest statistics are in. We have more updating from countries around the world reporting their statistics. And the good thing I can now share with you is that the mortality rate is now less than 1%. We know that we thought it was going to be somewhere between like 2.7 and 3.4% because that's what the early indicators looked like. The good news is it does look like it's 1%, less than 1% mortality rate, with the current estimates at 0.6. Now, two sides of the story. Some people say that there's an over-exaggeration in terms of mortality and even in hospitalizations because there are so many people. This actual virus is affecting people age 75 and over at such a great degree. And by the time most people get to 75, the health-based complications are so great. I mean, there's heart disease, there's type 2 diabetes, there's cancer, there's all sorts of different things going on. So some people believe that, and some people also believe that the number of cases is so much greater, like 5x minimum to 10x most likely. So the mortality rate then is going to go down to maybe even 0.1%, maybe even less, maybe 0.06 is what some people are estimating. And that's based on, again, just people that 70%, 80% of the population when they get COVID-19 is asymptomatic. So, and I don't give these statistics to ever say that there's less seriousness around this. There's not. There's also more. We don't even know. We truly don't even know a lot yet because this is our first time going through COVID-19. Now, the world's been through coronaviruses for many years, SARS, MERS, and many others. And so we know about those. And the good news about those is they don't seem to be multi-generational in terms of having a severe effect years later. So that's the good news from that. But we don't know about COVID-19, and we're taking the proper precautions. We're social distancing, we're quarantining. No doubt that's helped to slow down the movement of COVID-19. And again, who knows how much greater it would have been. But at least in terms of mortality, there's going to be even less, which is a great thing because of these acute life-saving pharmaceuticals, which I talk about each and every week. And that's it. So keep boosting your immune system, keep yourself healthy, and keep boosting your immune system even when they are allowing people back to work. And again, the good news is we've let hospitals really catch up. So New York, Michigan, just a few others that were inundated should be catching up now over the next 2 weeks maximum, with New York actually saying that cases are now declining. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is some silver lining that we're learning a lot through this, and the mortality rate we do see is now falling back in line with more of an influenza. But I won't be able to update you fully on that with the truth and the unbiased statistics for at least another month. And the reason is that we need more stats to come in. So always want to just let you know exactly where we stand, and that's where we are standing right now. Now, there's two different sides to this. And what I want to share with you is basically the conventional medicine side. So there's the World Health Organization, there is the CDC, Center for Disease Control. But when we're looking at, let's say, just the CDC side or the conventional side, there's Dr. Fauci, and you're going to get Dr. Anthony Fauci, a lot of the statistics from that point of view and his biases, because there's certainly biases that much of which have not played out. So this is why I'm telling, and again, it does not mean don't listen to Dr. Fauci. I'm not saying that, but we have to understand, and I've said this from the very beginning, you have to look at people's motives and you have to look at what they said from the very beginning. Many people, and that's why I really do hope that we remember this, that we're just causing mass hysteria, like absolute mass hysteria, saying that 40 to 70% of the world's population is going to get this year, that we're going to have billions of people sick, we're going to need, millions and millions of body bags. I mean, and they were using those types of words, just millions and millions of body bags are going to be needed. So that's one point of view, that's one point of view. And if you connect with that, and you're really kind of following it to the T. And then there are other people on the other side of the debate. And I would just say, there's myself that's more in the middle. Listen, I'm going to report to you exactly how it is because, the same reports I'm giving you are the ones that I'm giving my parents and I'm giving my family and friends, and those are my private practice. So, you can kind of take that for what it's worth. Maybe it's not sensationalistic enough. A lot of people want to kind of gravitate towards one side. And then the more sensational part on, I would say, the non-conventional side would be someone like Dr. Shiva. And I actually said, listen to him as well. And if you haven't listened to Dr. Shiva and all of his interviews and his Instagram lives, go check him out as well. I mean, he's a very well educated PhD from, I believe, MIT, studies biochemistry, talks a lot about viruses, talks a lot about what we're looking at right now in terms of COVID-19 and the efficacy of what we're doing. So he had an open letter to President Trump a few weeks back and talked about a lot of what I talk about, which is vitamin D, which is vitamin C. And these things are, again, shown to be true. I would have presented more. I would have been adding zinc in there. I would have been adding a few other things. But again, fairly good surmise of what we need to do as well. So I'll link up Dr. Shiva. You can check him out. It's not a full endorsement of him. I'm just simply saying, hey, it's another side to check out. And his following and popularity have skyrocketed just over the last 2 weeks because he's a different side of the story. And again, I believe that perspective is good, and listening to both sides, I think, is always excellent. All right, so enough for the viral-based updates. I want to give you that acai bowl recipe. It's way back on stephencabral.com/553. That is my podcast. It was actually, I believe it was a Friday review. It was on, well, this is actually, I didn't even see this before, but it's on an acai bowl recipe and a natural malaria cure. Interesting, right? Because malaria and the malaria-based drugs are often what we're using and seeing working right now with COVID-19. And I gave you on a previous video as to why that may be, 3 different possibilities, since this virus is not necessarily a parasite or malaria. But I gave you the different reasons. I also gave you the herb that can be used for malaria and has actually been proven, and I have the research study all linked up on how it was more effective than the drug itself. So check that out. That's stephencabral.com/553. And then you can also download the acai bowl recipe right there as well. So the acai bowl recipe is, I can just read it off to you as well, one that we make because it's super easy. Now, I will let you know, sometimes we use the pitaya packets. The pitaya is dragon fruit and it makes a pink smoothie bowl. We simply just mix that with some frozen banana. And the reason why we make this too is that my youngest daughter loves all things pink. Really just came out at birth loving everything pink and always has. It's unbelievable. My oldest daughter could not care less. But my youngest one, you just show her anything pink and that's literally her favorite. So we do make that. Now, if you wanted to make the pink one, you'd simply use a frozen banana and then a pitaya frozen packet. Just substitute the acai frozen packet if you'd like. Now, one thing we also use is we use just a organic mixed berry packet in there. We use just a little bit of nut milk, macadamia nut milk, or coconut milk, hemp milk we sometimes use, and just enough to get that blender or food processor to spin. Blendtec is a great one. Vitamix is a great one. Those are ones that are strong enough. The Ninja, though, will sometimes work as well. And again, you can check out a previous podcast I did on the best blenders. Just go to stephencabral.com/podcast. You can just search for the best blenders. I give one at every price range. So under $100, around $100, couple $100, and then the Pinnacle, which is the big Vitamix that you can hand tamp with and certainly makes the best smoothie bowls, no doubt about it. Again, I'm not an affiliate for Vitamix or anything like that, but certainly that with the hand tamp makes the best ones, in my opinion. Blendtec we use for smoothies. Anyway, so that's that. But really where it's at with a smoothie bowl or an acai bowl is the toppings. So slice up some of your favorite fruit. I love putting some sliced kiwi on there, some more sliced banana. We'll slice up some strawberries, whatever we have that's fresh. And then you can do some gluten-free granola if you'd like. So something crunchy. You could do coconut flakes if you'd like, but something crunchy gives it that texture, and mixing it with the smoothie makes a great breakfast option or a great lunch option. We mix the vanilla or chocolate daily nutritional support powder in there for 15 grams of protein. You could also just use the hemp protein as well. So super easy, put everything you want in there. Like literally you can put some omega-3s in there. You can put some daily fruit and vegetable blend in there. Anything you want your kids to get that's good food as well. So again, we do that all the time for our girls and they love it. And I do it for myself too. Okay, so you can check that out again, stephencabral.com/553. I'll try to link it up today. All the show notes and the research coming up right now will be at stephencabral.com/1540. So just head over there. We'll link everything up at stephencabral.com/1540. Okay, last but certainly not least is I didn't bring you my plant-based app. Okay, I'm going to bring you the research, but this plant-based app, I'm just having a lot of fun with. And again, anything that's free and you can have fun with, especially when you're in quarantine right now, many of you are, and getting out for walks though as much as you can. It's just called Picture This. That's the name of the app. I'm going to link it up for you again at 1540, the podcast today. And it allows you to actually identify plants in your area. And it's super simple. I mean, it's actually unbelievable into how it works. You just take a picture of a flower, a tree, plants, any weeds, anything growing, and it will tell you not only what it is. Well, let me just give you as an example. So I'm going to I click on me inside of the app, and I'll just click on anything I've taken a photo of. And what it will do, so like this one's a crocus flower. And what it will do is it will show you when it blooms. It will do a Q&A as to how often it blooms. It will talk about its description, characteristics. It gives you the Latin name. It tells you how much sunlight it needs, its hardiness, so like how it can survive to negative 20 degrees. It gives you the zones in which it can grow, talks about its best soil, how much you need to water it. I mean, it's pretty impressive, like it really is. And then there's also a part of the app where, let's say the plant is diseased. You can actually take a photo of the whole plant in the disease area. It can tell you how to care for it. A really fun app that allows you to also explore others in your area. So for example, if you press explore and you allow it to access where you are on the map, it will show you where in your area different and interesting plants are that you could find out for yourself or even teach your kids. So that's one thing that we're doing is we are currently on the West Coast right now, not back in Boston yet. And we'll be back in Boston once the quarantine period is over, or we'll just decide eventually like, hey, okay, we're heading back to Boston. But we're enjoying some sunlight. I've always felt that if you're going to get sick, if you're going to get, health-based issues, being in warmer, drier-based climate is the best way. You want to get out there, you want to get sunlight, you want to breathe fresh air. Anyway, we had to travel back from Australia anyways, and we couldn't even make it back to Boston. So that's one more reason, many, many reasons, but that's one. So we're enjoying going for walks, using this, really fun for the whole family. And again, it's free. So you can check that out. Let me know what you think. The only thing I wish this app had, and there is a premium version of it, but I wish this app had if and what part of the plant is edible. But I'll bring you another app later on edible plants, and you can check that out for just for example, you want to go out there and you want to pick edible plants, use it with a culinary recipe, you can do that. All right, now on to our research. I'll give you all the research, but I will give you the abbreviated research because I want to make sure that we stick to our time for the podcast. All right, so the first one is this. Really important, and I will link up all the research in case you want to look up these studies on your own, but a large-scale analysis links glucose metabolism, meaning like your blood sugar metabolism, glucose metabolism proteins to Alzheimer's disease biology. Now, really important too, that you check out my Alzheimer's series I did over a year ago now, so you can check that out. It's a 3-part series. We will try to link that up again today at 1540. So it's a 3-part series, and this now new study came out April 13th, 2020, National Institute on Aging. And let's see, I'll link it up, but it's large-scale analysis, links glucose metabolism proteins to Alzheimer's disease biology. And the reason why I wanted to share with you is that we're learning more and more about how our body's metabolism of food and also glucose regulation affects certain proteins that can then lead to Alzheimer's. It's one of the reasons why a few years ago, we started referring in the medical-based industry of Alzheimer's as type 3 diabetes. This is important for a few reasons. One is, of course, there'll be smart drugs that are developed based on blocking this neuroinflammatory process that actually creates free radical damage and oxidative damage to the brain cells themselves, but also what we can do in terms of nutrition. And of course, if you've been studying this podcast or listening to this podcast for any length of time, you know that the most supportive diet for this is a Mediterranean-based diet, one that's on the lower glycemic range, that uses berries, that uses lots of vegetables, at least 5 to 7 servings a day. I like the 7 to 9 serving category. A lot of fiber, that means 30 to 35 grams plus per day, and includes some type of omega-3 based foods. No doubt about it, I'll be bringing more of that research to you as well, coming up right now. So April 14th, 2020, brand new study just came out showing, and again, this is completely unbiased. It really is. You have to understand is that all I care about for people is saying, how do we live the longest, healthiest life possible. And if there are better ways of doing that, I'm open to it and I want to be doing it, right? For myself, my family, and for others as well. Well, I'm just going to show you the basis for this study. It's called, again, National Institute for Health, National Eye Institute, Diet May Help Preserve Cognitive Function. And this was titled Adherence to a Mediterranean Diet and Cognitive Function in Age-Related Eye Disease. And we're looking at overall brain cognition as well. So the studies showed that those people that adhered most to a Mediterranean diet that was highest in vegetables, whole grains, fish, and olive oil had the best improvement in overall cognitive function over their lifetime. So this was a decent study, really was. It was over 4,000 participants, so it was a good size. And they looked at it in 3 different timelines, 2 years, 4 years, and 10 years later of those people that best adhered to a Mediterranean diet. And why this is important is that there are some people who are more prone towards Alzheimer's disease. So we're just talking about Alzheimer's, the people with ApoE genotype number 4. And they found that even those people who are adhering to a Mediterranean diet fared better. So that means even if you're more genetically predisposed to cognitive issues, such as neural health issues, dementia, Alzheimer's, etc., that following a Mediterranean diet, especially high in vegetables they found. So if you don't want to read the whole study, I'm giving you the synopsis of it. Vegetables and fish, okay? So here it is. Participants with the greatest adherence to the Mediterranean diet had the lowest risk of cognitive impairment. High fish and vegetable consumption appeared to have the greatest protective effect. At 10 years, they just go into the highest fish consumption, had the slowest rate of cognitive decline. What does that mean for you? Really simply put, try to eat fish a couple times a week. Try to have them highest in omega-3s, sardines, mackerel, anchovies, wild salmon, or trout. Make sure that they're not farm-raised. If they are, that it's done in a natural way, that their fish aren't swimming in a plastic pool being fed, unnatural foods for them. And then use an omega-3, a good quality, molecular distilled, no mercury, no heavy metal, omega-3. And of course, we offer one with Equilibrium Nutrition, but you can use a functional medicine brand that you trust. So we're looking at this over and over, but the truth is okay, yes, you want to be doing that, but what you really want to be looking at too is what's your overall diet look like on a daily basis? Is it closely related to a paleo-style Mediterranean diet? Because you're not going to find better than that. You really won't. We've been looking at diets for a long, long time. Now, there is a time and place for many different diets, but I'm talking about long-term, long-term. A lot of people got upset. They didn't get upset, but they were it just kind of it brings to light, I did this on episode 1531, the very real dangers of a long-term low-carb diet. And I talked about certain diets like keto and all that, and I said, listen, there's nothing wrong with them short-term. There's something wrong with them long-term. Carnivore, keto, etc., etc. When you are too far off the mark from including a lot of high plant-based foods, you're probably not going to reap all of the benefits of a great, long, healthy life. Now, maybe you will. Again, maybe you'll be one of those aberrations, but we don't have anything that shows that. You do not find the longest lived people living on a keto-based diet. You just don't. That just does not exist. And so that's just what I want to share with people. If it did exist, I'd be sharing you that as well. Okay, I'm going to link up this study for you. And then the last one I'm not going to talk too much about because I'm going to be doing a whole podcast in the future about this. But listen to this, just this nice statistic, that if we started to use more of our urban-based environments, more of our cities, just to create urban greenhouses or urban gardens, that even if we just use 10% of the city garden area, that's it, 10% of vacant lots, we planted fruit trees on sidewalks instead of just regular trees that don't produce any fruit. If we did that, we would be able to feed just 10%, only 10% of that. We'd be able to feed 15% of the population. So if you do the math, if we were actually to use more and more, we could feed entire cities with fruits and vegetables for free, for just the maintenance. The maintenance would be water and starting with initial seeds. That's it. So some people's volunteer time, believe me, people would volunteer to do this if they can use the space, water, and then that. And then we can have someone give these vegetables out, give the fruit out for free. It's almost, I don't understand how this isn't being done now. I'm not going to get into that today. I don't understand how it's not being done. On a future show, I'm going to teach you, very simply put, how to create your own indoor, inside of your house, or outdoor urban garden, meaning like your own home or backyard, so that you can start to grow more of your own fruit and vegetables. Not only is it enjoyable and really worthwhile to do, meaning like you get a lot of pride from doing it, you're not going to be able to get fresher food than that. Simple way to get some soil. I'll teach you how to do that. I started doing it in Maine, and you can just feed even your own family with vegetables. And then if you're able to plant fruit, that's great too, but at least you'll be able to do your veggies. Lettuce is super simple, like any type of lettuce or chard or carrots, these things are so easy to grow, tomatoes. And then you'd be able to pick those fresh and just eat them right there. And if you listen to my podcast just about, a week or so ago, it was on fresh versus frozen versus cooked-based foods. You can check that out. You'll be able to find it at stephencabral.com/podcast. You'll understand like how it just like the different benefits from eating all of these things and how quickly they're picked when they're ripe. So really great stuff. I'll link that up too. This study was done on March 17th, and it just shows that, and again, this is for 5 vegetables a day. You'd be able to give 5 servings a day to people if you just planted 10% of the vacant space in cities. Pretty remarkable. Most people don't even eat 5 vegetables a day as it is. So imagine that. It would be astronomical, I think, in terms of people's overall health, which would tremendously change the planet that we live on. So thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. I know I went way over. I have a lot to bring you, a lot of things that I want to teach. So hopefully this was beneficial. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. Take care. Have an amazing weekend, and be sure to come on back tomorrow for part 1 of our Cabral House Calls. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/resources.